All right, easy blues bass lines and blues standards. If you want to learn the blues, stick around. I've got 5 traditional blues songs, and I'll break one down to help get you started as well. So if you don't know me by now, I'm Donald with the bass instructor of the How to Play Bass online course at iwannaplaybass.com. Jump over there, subscribe, become a free member, and get your free ebook on setting your bass up for success also. And subscribe here. I've got lots of videos coming out that'll help you become a better bassist in lots of genres we go over and everything. So lots of videos coming out. Okay, well, let's dig into it. Sometimes in the blues we've got to take a step back to get a step forward. So we're going to step back to 1961, John Lee Hooker's Boom Boom. It's a great blues song. You'll like it, and if you haven't, I've talked a lot about John Lee Hooker in a lot of other videos, so they'll be in a card up here. You can click those and check those out too. Lots of other songs by him, but today we're talking about Boom Boom. And I'm not going to give you the bass line. I'm going to let you figure that out. I've got the link down below to the song, so click the link and figure that out. It's good for your ear training. You know, we're always training our ears. I don't care. You know, nobody ever. That's a never-ending journey there. Ear training is always, you can always improve on that. So definitely jump down there, figure these bass lines out. They're not difficult bass lines. They're easy bass lines, but figure those out. Help yourself and figure those out by your own, your own ear. Don't, the easy way out's not always the best way. Well, it's never the best way. So always got to put your work in to get, to get the highest rewards. So that's it. Jump over there, figure out the bass line, and reward yourself with that. So that's 1961, John Lee Hooker's Boom Boom. Great blues song, traditional blues line, just a true blues. So it's definitely where you want to start to build that foundation. So you can go off to other genres. You can add that style into your style. So lots of benefits from learning the blues in any of these genres. Just be a well-rounded bassist and know all of these. So let's jump forward. We'll jump to 1971, and it's Freddie King's Going Down. Now this one was written by Don Nix. He didn't record it. He just wrote the song. He did a lot of writing and producing for other guys, but he wrote the song planning on giving it to Elvis, but Elvis didn't go for it, and then he got Freddie King to go for it, and he's glad he did. Freddie King really made this a blues song. He's a blues player, phenomenal blues player, and he really made this a blues song. He lived the blues, so Freddie King was definitely he lived the blues, so it was a good choice to let him have it, and he took his song. Great song. I think it's been played on some of TV shows and stuff like that. You might not even know you've heard it, but you have heard it. One of those songs. And you'll be glad you heard that one too. I learned that bass line also. It's another traditional, true blues song. Now we jump a year later, 1972, and it's Albert King recorded I'll Play the Blues for You. Another blues standard song that's true blues. Learn the bass line, get that down. It's not a difficult bass line. It's a fun bass line. And just a good song to listen to. I mean, listen to Albert King playing the guitar. It's, good stuff, just good blues listening songs. Now this one's 1979. Now this is a blues standard. This is actually in my real book, and if you haven't got your real book, jump over to iwannaplaybass.com, go to the bassist gear corner and pick yours up now. There's lots of good stuff in there as well to look at. So that's going to be the one we're going to break down. All blues, 1979, Chet Baker. And there's actually vocals in it, so you get a real good feel for the song. For the longest time I played the song, and I just thought it was just blues. I didn't think there were lyrics, but there are, and it's pretty neat. And it's like, I never really thought that song was about that, but it's it is. So check that out. Get the vocals. Check that video out and enjoy it. That's going to be the one we're breaking down. A little more intricate, a little bit more, not a lot, but we'll break that one down in a minute. So just hold tight. We're getting there. Now this one's a great one. Buddy Guy, somebody you gotta listen to. Just phenomenal. Tones, vocals. The guy is just, everything he does is just beautiful. Just beautiful. So 1993, Feels Like Rain. Great song to listen to. Just to, just if you're driving down the road, put the window down, just turn it up. It's just a feel-good song, and you definitely want to hear it. He's got Bonnie Raitt in there singing some backup vocals, and just the vocal harmonies are just beautiful, and just the tones are beautiful. He's got the best tones in this particular album. Just the producer what it is. They're just great. The keyboard player, everything just fits perfectly, and they're just beautiful sounds. Now, as promised, we're going to break one of these down, and like I said, it's going to be all blues. So get out your real book, or get your real book, because this thing is needed for aspiring bassists. And this picture, this actually they have them for treble guitar and everything, but this one's actually the bass clef up there. You see it? So this is written in bass. So if you're a bass player, you're a true bass player, get that thing. And that's, you know, it's got 430 some standards in there, maybe 450. A lot of jazz standards, and the traditional ones, the ones you want to know. You don't have to learn all 400 of them. You just need to know of them. And I've actually, if you need, jump over to iwanttoPlayBass.com. I've highlighted the top 10. Maybe I'll do a YouTube video of these top 10 that you always see. If you ever go to a jazz jam or something like that, these top 10, you're almost guaranteed to hear those every time. So, you know, those are to need, and I'll probably do that in a later video on down the road. Those are need to know standards for sure. And just definitely broaden your horizons. You know, jazz is intricate, and it's not an easy style or genre, but you can make it happen. It's definitely something fun to know. It's nothing better than just playing the jazz. It's really fun, and you know, it's free. So it's, you know, that's what's so great about it. You're free to do whatever you want, you know, within the guidelines. You know, you want to add to the song, definitely, but you don't want to be tied to you're not tied to like a classical song to these notes right here, this beat, this note at this time. You know, you're not tied to that. You're free to do a lot in jazz. That's what makes it fun. But you need to know your music theory and everything else. It helps a lot. So all blues, the one tricky thing about this is the 6/8 time. And what I do to help keep me knowing that in that measure, knowing where one is, or in the whole song, is I count 6/8 times. Or just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So what you want to do, you want to subdivide that measure into half. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll usually tap my left leg on 1, 1, 2, 3, and then halfway through that measure, which is 4, I tap my right leg. So that lets me know where I'm at in that measure. Because you can just do 1, 2, 3. It'd be easier. It's easier to count 1, 2, 3, but you're going to lose where the true one is in there. So you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be the best way to count this off, then the most effective way for you to count this off. Now it's in the key of G, and like I say, it's a standard 12-bar blues, dominant chords, your 1, 4, 5. It actually goes out in the third 4 bars of that at the kind of the ending going into the turnaround back to the top. You go to the 5, and then it goes to, on the, what bar is that? On the 10th bar, you go to an E flat, and that right there, that's the jazz. That's what really gives it that jazz feel. And it's still a dominant chord, E flat 7. So, and it just goes out for a moment, for 3 beats. It goes out of the out of the feel, the blues feel. So that E flat 7 there, and then it comes back to the D, and 2 bars of the G7, the G dominant 7. So that's the makeup of it. That's the framework of the song. Now they start off with the intro, and this is the blues. This is a standard blues bass line. This is a recognizable blues bass line. When you hear this bass line, you know that's all blues, and it's just. That's the bass line. So it does that in G. You go G, D, E, D, F, D, E, D, G. Okay, so that's the bass line, and then it goes to G. Same thing. C, same feel, same pattern. C, G, A, G, B flat, A. G, A, G, C. Okay, same pattern. and then it goes back to G for 2 bars. So G7 with that pattern, 4 bars, C7, 2 bars, back to G for 2 bars, and then after the G7 it goes to D, D7 for 1 bar, and then E flat 7 for 3 beats, and then back to D7 for the other 3 beats, and then back to, now we're in the turnaround, the G7 for 2 bars. So we're turning around. This is kind of where you're free. You know, they stick to the pattern though. He does a little triplet, I think, before the solo, so he pretty much nails that pattern down. So he pretty much nails that pattern the entire time until it gets ready to change into the solo section, and that's where he starts a walking bass line. But this is over the verse and everything else, just that right there, that pattern the whole time, even in the turnaround, 2 bar turnaround, and it goes back to the top, same pattern. Bar blues right there, that's the pattern. And if you haven't seen some of my other videos, they're here. I'll leave a link up here for them. Check those out, because it's all about the, you know, the 12 bar blues, that just taking that pattern and working with it. Okay, so traditionally that would be it of a standard blues song, but this being a jazz blues song, in the solo section, after, you know, you can do that, you can vamp on that as many times as you want. There's no cut and dry that this is this away. You know, you just do it, and everybody agrees that, all right, we're going to take a solo. When the solos come in, pretty much after the melody, and then when the solos come in, and like I say, you've got vocal melody here, you got vocals in this, so after the singing, after the verses, you can tell where the verses are, you take a solo, and that's where he starts a walking bass line. And that's what makes it jazz blues, is because of that. Typically it would just stay in that pattern, that blues pattern, over and over, but it actually goes to a walking bass line, and you know, it's interesting, and that's what makes it fun and gives it jazz blues for sure. And that walking bass line's over the solos. So we've got the 12 bars, G, C, G, D, and E flat. So once the verses are done and you start taking the solos, it gets, you know, it's just a walking bass line. Basically, you just target those chord tones and walk your bass line targeting those chord tones. But you just this is where you got to really keep the feel, because the bass line here keeps the feel for itself. You can just feel that. You don't even have to be counting during that time, but during walking bass line, you're going to have to keep track of where your one is, and is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, you know, you're just going to have to kind of probably count to yourself a lot. 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. So you're almost going to have to count yourself for a while until you get it down, until you nail it, because, you know, it's just a little different. That extra 2 beats throws us off, because we're so familiar with the 4/4 that it's, you know, it makes it, you want to subdivide it on 3s, and you find yourself on 1 where you're really on beat 5. So you just got to be careful with that. That's the only thing. So it might have a tendency at first to take away from your walking bass line, because you're counting and you're trying to keep time, keep track of the time, and then your notes, you're not able to target those as well. But over time, it'll get easier and better. Just keep digging at it. It will get better. You'll be able to come up with some nice lines, and then you'll just forget about the time. Once you get the drummer, you know, he'll have an idea that'll give that one back to you all the time. He'll do something that you can be familiar with, that getting to that one. But he does some walking bass lines in there. He does a couple couple ghost notes, and he gives it that feel. something like that. That's kind of the feel that he's using during that. And it's a blues, it's a swing blues, so it's not a straight. You can do that at first just to get started, get familiar with it. Just do a straight, just walking bass line, just straight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can do that. Don't worry. That's you got to start somewhere. So just start somewhere and work it out. Okay. So that's pretty much the song. G. That's the chord. That's the framework. That's the pattern. And then we've got. I'll give you the melody. It's over the. In the beginning, it's just they're just doing some chords. And this just helps you get an idea of the song, and then you can actually, and somewhere in there you can do that. Just help give a little color, give you a little, little freedom there. Like I said, jazz is free. You can do it, but just be in time and be in the right keys and right notes, your chords you're working off of. So that's just a double you got here. So you got B, D, you're still in G7, so all over G7, B, D, C, E, D, F, C, E, and it goes into the melody. And then it just keeps playing that, and then she comes in singing, the vocals come in. I mean, that's the framework of this particular tune, but like I said, this is a blues standard. You can, however your ensemble wants to put it together, it's just how you want to do it. You can actually just read by this chart. You'll keep repeating until somebody cues you to, start, or somebody just come in and play the melody, start playing the melody, and then you repeat that, and then you can go right to the head, and then that's where you pretty much just stick and you just playing it right as is right there. Your head is your 12-bar blues right there. So, I mean, like I say, this is, like I say, you can make up, you've got your, you're repeating, you're in G, you're repeating that first part, that bass line, and then you can just keep repeating that until somebody cues you, and then we dig right into the melody, we come into the melody, and then you keep repeating that as many times as you want, and then you jump right to the head, and right there's the, well, you're going to play this here, and then you're going to go into the head, and that's where you solo. Those 3 lines right there and that's all. I mean, 1 page, chord chart, nothing difficult, but the sky's the limit with it. So definitely enjoy it and practice on it. Practice, and hit that like button for me. Help me help you. I've got lots of videos and coming out, so definitely it keeps me going and keeps me inspired. So see y'all in the next video, and catch you on the flip flop. Bye now.